Guys, how you doing? It's Oscar. Gonna come back with a little bit of a review. My thoughts anyway on the RazoRock HAWK. Now I had this was my third use with it today, and I gotta say with each use it's gotten a little easier to use, and I've gotten better with it, and each shave has gotten better than the previous one. Now this is my first single edge razor. If you've been watching for a little while, you know that I'm all about, the Phoenix. This is, the double open comb is pretty much my favorite. I was actually looking for a little bit of a way to get it a little bit more aggressive as far as the use of the blade. In some of the some videos I saw from Leonard Ibarra and from Douglas regarding shimming, what I did was I kind of followed, I think it was Leonard's lead, where what I did was I cut the blade, the sharp part of an older razor blade, and I put it in between the base plate and the top cap underneath the blade in order to lift the blade away from the base plate to give it a little bit more exposure and a little bit more aggressiveness. It did make a little bit of a difference, and I was very happy with it. But after seeing, that the HAWK was coming out, and I've been really curious about the Mongoose and other single edges, but Mongoose kind of seems to be the standard for the newer single edges. I saw that the HAWK was coming out. I mean, the Mongoose money is just not something that I was comfortable spending and then taking a chance on not liking it. So when the HAWK was coming out, and then I saw David Gonzalez had a review of it, spoke highly of it, I thought I'd try it out. So I was able to get jump on board when Rico the other day I think he retweeted, or he put a screen capture of a tweet from Joe at RazoRock that the HAWK was coming out again. So I jumped on it and I grabbed the black one. If you don't already know, they have a black and a not chrome looking version. $24.95 for this one, $19.95 for the other one. So I couldn't beat it. Worst case scenario, I actually got in touch with David Gonzalez. I said, hey, I'm thinking of jumping on this HAWK. What do you think? And, he made a good point. He goes, worst case scenario, you don't like it. You can, it's kind of an in-demand product, so you can probably, just forward it or sell it for what you bought or for what you spent. So I said, that's a great point. So I jumped on it. And then I asked him also what type of blades I should get, because I saw that on Italian Barber. Joe had, I think, 3 or 4 different varieties. I think there was one from Kai, there was a couple from Feather, and David suggested the Feather Pro Guard. Now, as you know, anything that says Feather in it, anything that says Feather can come out and bite you. So I'll get into the use and the technique of it. But I jumped on it. The blades surprised me as far as the price. I think it was $22 for a box of 15. But from what I understand, the blades are going to last a while, and you'll be able to get a lot more shaves on each of those blades than you would from a standard double edge blade. So, but so I did a little bit of a kind of a studying up on it a little bit, and kind of the use of other single edge razors like this one and the Mongoose and whatnot. And I know that the blade is going to be a lot more rigid. It's going to really be more unforgiving, really. There's no flexibility, and not that there's a lot of flexibility in the standard double edge, but the double edge blades to me seem a lot thinner. And these ones, when I was taking them out of the box, first of all, the box comes with kind of a blade dispenser, and there's 15 blades inside here. So in order to get the blade out, you slide this little thing over, and the blade comes out of this end here. So it kind of minimizes how much you're actually handling the blade, which is a good thing. But when I got the blade out, I was looking at it, and I was kind of like, honestly, in my naiveness, I was kind of like, what the hell end? What's the sharp end? Which end is? Because it's not as thin as a standard razor blade. So I honestly was kind of like, shit, which end is the end you shave with? Because these ribs, these little ribs that are along this edge, I didn't think that that was the side you're supposed to shave with. So then I was like, all right. But then when I disassembled the razor to insert the blade, there was really only one way that it could fit. Like I said, first time, I'd never used these before. So so when you use the blade, it does actually line up with the posts, with those posts right there. And so it actually is the side that has those kind of those ribs on it. So what I found when I was shaving also, if you know one of the big things I love about the Phoenix is the fact that these grooves leave, you know, trails of product in order to allow you to go into subsequent passes. So what I noticed today, more so with before, those little ribs on the blade actually left some tracking of product. So it did leave some product, some cream and whatnot, or some soap, and allowed me to just go into a quick, you know, cross the grain pass. Now, after my first use of this, and I posted my shave of the day, I said that the first word that came to my mind with this razor after the first couple strokes was it was very efficient. I wasn't gonna have to keep going, you know, go over and then over again to make sure I got one, maybe two, and then move on to a different area. After the first couple strokes, I kind of felt, you know, with this hand, I'm like, wow, it really took off a lot of, you know, a lot of what was there just in the first one or two strokes, which appeared to me a lot more efficient. Now, with the width of the head, the width of this head versus the width of the standard head, look, you have almost, let me see if you can see it. You're gonna cover more area with each stroke than you will, a little bit more than you will with a standard razor. You'll see that it's wider, and so you're able to cover more area. The bad thing about that, to me personally, with the way my growth is when you get into the more contoured areas like the Adam's apple or under, you know, the curvature of the neck here, you're really gonna have to stretch and try to straighten all that out in order to get, you know, flat contact with the length or with the width of this head. Now, the reason I haven't put it apart was because first impressions of the razor itself were, looks-wise, it's awesome. I mean, it's black, it's, you know, it has a stealthiness to it. You know, it's cool, I really like it. But you can also tell it's not as solid from what I've seen, obviously, in the level of craftsmanship that you'll get from like a mongoose and stuff. But again, $25, you're not gonna, you know, versus 100 and something for a mongoose. So you're gonna give some of that up, and not in a bad way. You're gonna get more of what you pay for with this than you will with that. Now, there's been conversations as far as products and soap and razors and hardware and software and stuff. You know, will you get a 4 times better shave with a mongoose than you will with this because you paid 4, 5, 6 times as much? It's honestly no, but it's kind of subjective, because if you feel more comfortable with a nice heavy solid razor in your hand like a mongoose versus an aluminum razor like this, which is much, much lighter, then it's going to be up to you, and then it's going to be up to you whether or not you you know, you're happy with the money that you spent. After I did the prismatic review, I got some yahoo was commenting about, convince me why I should use that and instead of my ATT S1 FYZ, whatever. I said, hey, if you're comfortable spending almost $200 to get the same results, that's up to you. You know what I mean? And then he turned into a dick, but it's, you know, it's subjective, and if you're happy with it, and if there's any way for you to borrow a mongoose and decide that, yeah, I'm going to spend the money, then that's up to you. That's up to you. I'm happy with this. I'm not going to go and pursue a mongoose because I think I'm getting better with this enough to where I'm getting more than I paid for with this and the blade. So the blades and the razor together, 40 some bucks, and you know what I mean? That's still a fourth of what you'll pay for a used mongoose even. So anyway, getting back to this now, the first thing that got me besides the visual was how light it was. It's aluminum. It's not very solid. It's not stainless steel. So you have to adjust your pressure and whatnot for the weight and also for the aggressiveness of the razor. Because like I said, if it says feather, it's going to get you. And I did get myself a couple times here and there because I was trying to get a little bit too aggressive. As comfortable as I am with the Phoenix, I was almost trying to do that with the Hawk, and you just can't do that. So it's going to be light, and it's going to be kind of, I mean, it's aluminum. You get that tin metallic-y little sound. You see, so you just beware of that, and if that's off-putting to you, you should keep that in mind. And then when you're putting it together, there's going to be more of a metallic kind of a sound, but don't let that worry you. And once you, I attached a little couple second long video in front of this that you'll see what the blade exposure looks like once the blade is actually properly inserted. So I have the blade in and I'm putting it back in. Obviously you don't want to tighten it too much, just kind of hand tight. And there it is. There's the blade. There's a pretty decent amount of exposure. And there's going to be zero flexibility with the blade as far as, so when you're you know, shaving, it's going to be rigid. So you can still adjust for the angle, but just like zero pressure. And then adjust as you go. So I was able to do, I don't have to do as many passes as I do with the Phoenix. But I still, if I get a spot, you know, here, for example, I can, but not as like I said, Phoenix is not aggressive, but allows you to be aggressive. You can't really do that so much with this one. So well, I can anyway, maybe you can, like I said, third time. So, but what I do then is just, you know, I'm able to touch it up, and then I'm able to finish. So I didn't have to stroke as much with this one as I did with this one. Sorry. So efficiency is cool. Again, the weight is really light. I think it's the hand. It's a lot lighter than the Phoenix, but the handle on the Phoenix is more solid, so that's obviously going to make the difference. And then the head is an aluminum, like here. The prismatic is a lot lighter than the Phoenix, but again, it's still going to be heavier than this mostly because of the handle. So efficient. I like it. I'm going to keep using it. I'm going to keep it. Some of the best $25 I've ever spent since I've taken on this hobby. So I really like it. Try it out again, like David told me. If you don't like it, see if you can borrow one. If not, you know, $25, it's not going to break the bank. And then I'm pretty sure you'd be able to get rid of it if you end up not liking it. So, so that's my thoughts. I like it. I'm going to keep it. I'll keep using it. I'm going to try and get more proficient with it. Phoenix is still king, to me, but, that's it. That's my thoughts. So, I think that's it. Hope everybody's well. Peace. Have a good night.